Hello all. Today we'll discuss about the variables in Python. So let me open a new Jupyter notebook. I'll create new Python 3. Now I can rename it as variables or anything, whatever you want. Okay, before I go into variables, let me just give you a few basic operations. So let's say I want to do addition. Let's say 2 plus 2 is 4. Now I want to do subtraction. Let's say I want to do 5 minus 2. It's 3. I want to do multiplication. So if I want to do, let's say 5 into 6. So the syntax for multiplication is star. I'm just hitting option enter, create a new cell, execute and create a new cell. Now let's say I want to divide. Okay, so divide, let's say I want to divide 8 divided by 4. So I know the answer is 2, but you see the 2 is coming as a fraction because it's automatically converting it into float. Now let's say I want to just do an integer division. Okay, let's see this thing. Let's say I want to divide 7 divided by 3. Okay, so you see it's giving you all the fractions. Now let's say I want to divide it. There's something called modular division. Let's say I want to divide it and I want to figure out what is the residual and what is the integer for it. The way to do that is if you do 7 instead of single slash, if I do double slash divided by 3, see it's giving me 3. It's the integer. This is called integer division. It will give you just the integer. Now if you want to, now there is a residual. So 7 divided by 3, that means it's 6 plus 1. So residual should be 1. So if I want to find out the residual, what you have to do is 7, then percent. So this is the symbol for finding residual, and 3. Now see, you are getting 1. Now this is just not with this number. You can do it with any other numbers. So let's say I want to do it 11 divided by 11 modular division 4. I want to see the residual. So you see the residual is 4. Similarly, I want to do 11 integer division 4, so I get 2. So because 2 into 4 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay, so you get the point. Now regarding the variables, okay, yeah, let's move on. Let me create a few more cells here so that we can see it better. So let's say I want to create a variable a, okay, which will hold a value of, let's say, 5. Okay, what I can do, I can type a is equal to 5. Now if I type a, you see the a contains 5. If you want to print the value of a, just click a, print a. This is how you will get it. Now let's say I want to change the value. I will say a is equal to 1. Okay. Now if I do a, change is, that's what is about the variables. Variables can hold any value. Now another, okay, one other thing to mention is, usually as a good practice, you see I can assign a value of a like this, a is equal to 1, or a the space equal to 1. Okay, so both way it works. So right now a value is 1, a value is 2. Okay, let's say I do b. So now a is 1 and b is 2. But the point here is you can use a space before and after assignment, or you may not use space. That's up to you, but I think as a best practice or as a better code readability, this is what is usually done. Okay, so is this as a practice, is a space before and after, so that improves readability a little bit. Okay, now a has a value of 2. Now let's say I want to assign a as test. Okay, now you see, now a is containing test. So Python did not complain that, okay, you are holding this as an integer, now you are just assigning test, so it doesn't matter. It dynamically allocate the data type into the variable, so you don't have to worry. So now let's say you really don't know what is the type of data it's holding. Right now I have this variable b and I have variable a. Now I want to see the type of current data type of b. So there is a built-in function for that. Just type a. You see it says str, which is there for string. Now let's say I do type b. So this is of type integer. Now there are other variable types. Let's look at this. Let's say I have another variable c, which is 1.2. Now if you want to understand what is the type of c, it is float. So float, which holds the fractional value, not only integer, fractional value. Now there are some other types. Okay, let's say I create another variable called my bool. Okay, so now there is another type called Boolean. Okay, so what you can do, let's say Boolean value contains two values. It's either true or false. If you just do type my bool, you see it says bool. It's bool for Boolean. Now, if you want to change the value, you can type false. So this is the way to type. So you know Boolean contains two values: true, T capital, and false, okay, F capital. This is the value it holds. Okay, moving on. So we have discussed integer, we have discussed about the data type string. Yeah, I'll come into more details about string. Then we have discussed about Boolean. Yeah, there's another data type which we use is called list. Okay, so let's say I have a variable list1. Okay, so what you can do, if you just use this open and close bracket, okay, then you see you want to see the type of list. You see this is it says is list, it's of data type list. Alternatively, what you can do, let's say I want to do list2 equal to list as a function. Okay, now let's look at the type of list2. Sorry, list2. This is the type of list2 is list. So this is that there's a two way to declare this variable. One is just open and close bracket. Python automatically knows it's of type list, and another one is list open and close parenthesis. Now both of these variable do not contain any value. Now if you want to add a value, let's say if you want to create a list variable and assign some value, okay, let's say 1, I want to create few value 1, 3, 5, 6, etc. Okay, now if you just type list1, so if you want to know the value of 1, you see it's 1, 3, 5, whatever value you have assigned to. Now there are some built-in function for list. Let's say now you want to add one more extra element into this list. So all you can do, type the variable name with dot and then type append. Okay. All I'm doing, I just hit AP tab autocomplete. Okay, if you hit tab, it will autocomplete. So now let's say I want to add another value, append another value into this list. Now this list1 should contain one more value. Okay. Now another interesting thing is Python does not complain even if you want to add any other type of data. Let's say, what I mean by that, let's say list1 append. Let's say I want to add one float value. Okay. Now let's see the value of list1 now. Okay, now you see there's a float value. Now let's say I want to add one more item which is a text. Okay, append. Let's say I want to add my name. So Python did not complain, so that means you can mix and match, you can add any type of value into the list. Now few other things which we can do is, let's say I want to find out the latest value of this list. Okay, so what I can do is I can click list1, then click pop. So, and this pop will permanently change the list value. If you look at now the name Tushar is gone. Now let's say you want to remove a value from the middle of the list. What you can do is click list1, for example, then remove. Then let's say I want to remove 5. Okay, now list1, yeah, 5 is gone. So there are few other things which we'll discuss in detail about the slicing of the list. So there is another thing called range. Okay, so if you type this range, you see it has created a range data type called 0 to 10. And now you can convert this range into a list. You can convert this range into a list. It's a type list range 10. So you see it has converted. So range of 10 meaning it will create numbers between 0 to 0 less than 10, 0 to 9. So this is how you can create a list out of range. So range is basically it's a type of iterator. It will not create the value immediately, but when you are calling something, when you are calling a loop or explicitly converting it to a range, then it will give you some values. So let's say I want to create my list 1 and create my list with a value from range 20. Okay, so my list should contain 0 to 19. Okay, yeah, let's just think about slicing. Okay, so the list has a very interesting property. It's called slicing. In slicing, what you can do is basically you can, as the name suggests, you can slice. So basically you want to see the part of the list, you want to see only few elements of this list, and that's how this slicing is available. Now the syntax for slicing is you need to use colon. So this is start, then after colon will be end, and then another colon will be steps. So let's say I want to start from 2 and I want to end till 10, then I want steps as 1. That means what I'm telling this list, what I'm telling Python, that okay, give me the number starting from 2 until 10 and with the steps of 1. So you see, this is what exactly it gave me. Started from 2 until 10, this is the end, and then steps 1. Now let's say I want to see only the even numbers. Now list, okay, thing to mention here is if you skip anything, if you skip the start and then keep everything else, it will give you from the beginning. Skipping the start meaning give you from the beginning. Now if you skip the steps, that will give you same result. This default step is 1, and if you are skipping the steps, you don't need to keep this second colon and remove it. You got my point. Now let's say, but I want it until end, so I can skip even end. Now yeah, it gave me everything starting from 2. Let's say I even want to skip the first one. That means I am telling that give me everything. So all you can do is you can even remove this one. So that will give you everything. Now when you are skipping everything, you can literally skip this colon as well. So that means just skip this. You're not slicing anymore. So you can remove this colon and just hit the list. So that will give you everything. Now let's say I want to see every alternate number. How I can do it is basically, that means I'm telling that okay, give me the step size as 2. I don't care. I want from beginning and end. So this is my starting. So I'm not putting anything. I'm skipping it. This is end. I'm telling start to end. But give me steps number as 2. So this is what we got. We see 0, 2. So we got all even numbers. Now let's say I want to find out only odd numbers. How can I do it? So in that case, step is definitely 2. But I don't want to start from the beginning. I want to start from 1. Now let's see. Yeah, this is what I got it. Now let's say I want to print the content of the list in a reverse order. How can I do it? So I know I want to print from start to end, but in this case my step is not positive because I want to go reverse. That means my step is negative. So even index, the value can be positive and negative, and I'll show you all examples. So let's first see. I want to print it reverse order. So I know first colon, this is start till end, second colon. Now my step is not default +1. I want the step is reverse -1. You see, now it has printed negatively. Okay, it has printed in the reverse order. Now let's say I want to print only the last 5 numbers. Okay, let's say this is my list. Let's look at our list. Our list contains 0 to 20, 0 to 19. So let's say I want to print only the last 5 numbers. Okay, I don't care. I don't know. I don't even know what is the size of this list, but I want to print only the last 5 numbers. How can I do it? I hit list. Then in the start. Now, so in our first column, this is start and this is end. In the start, I just tell that give -5. That means I'm telling Python, okay, give me from the last number, go back to 5, and then give me rest. From 5, give me everything else. And I'm not giving any step size here. Default step size is 1. So yep, I got it. So I got the last 5 number. Now, yeah, if you want, you can keep both the number as negative. For example, you say my first number is minus 10. So that means I'm telling from 10. Okay. And last number is not the end, but I want to stop at 15. So I'm telling minus 5. And the default step is 1. So yeah, this is what I got it. So yeah, this is how we can proceed from the list. Let's move on. Now we want to discuss about another variables, that is tuples, which is similar to list, but it's not exactly list. So let me discuss. So what do you mean by tuple is, let's say I create a variable as t, then I just create this 2 parentheses. Okay. Now let's say type t. See, this is tuple. Now, as we have seen in the case of list, there should be another way to create this tuple variable. Let's say t2 is equal to, so open and close parentheses. Now if you see type t2, this is also tuple. Now how we can assign a value in tuple is basically, let's say t is equal to, in bracket, you can keep any value. Okay, 3, 4, 5. Now if you print t, it has 1, 2, 3, 5. Now even if you want to slice here like others, 1, 2, 3, let's say, so I can still slice it like list, but the difference between list and tuple is immutable and list is mutable. So what do I mean by this? Once you have assigned the value in this tuple, you cannot really change it. Okay, I want to change the value position 1. Now position 1 holds 2. I want to change it to say 7. See, it's giving me error. You can't do it. But you could do that in list. Another thing is, in tuple, you don't have this append method or anything. You can't change. Once you assign, you cannot change. So that's the difference between list and tuple. Now let's move on. Now I want to discuss about another very important data type, which is called dictionary. So let's say I create another variable called my dictionary is equal to, again there's 2 ways to assign it. Now I say my dictionary 1 is equal to dictionary. So both way it creates your dictionary variable. Now if you just try to see the type of this dictionary, now if you just similarly try to see type of my dict1, I see dictionary. So what is dictionary? So dictionary is basically, it contains key and value pair. So cool part is, for example, you want to create a value of any key, let's say name, my name. Okay, I can create a key as my name is equal to Tuple. Let's say I want to create a dictionary where the key is name and I assign the value my name. Now if you try to print my dictionary, you see it says it has Tuple. Similarly, I can create another key, any key, my last name. Okay, I create, let's say, L name. Okay, now let's say I want to do it something like that. Okay, I want to create my dictionary. So now my dictionary should be empty. Now let's do my dictionary. What we can do is, let's say I create a variable like this. Okay, I create a key like this. 1 is equal to 1. My dictionary 2 is equal to 2. My dictionary 3 is equal to 3. Okay, now if I see my dictionary, I have 3 keys. Now if you just want to find or figure out how many keys you have, what you can do is you can type my dictionary dot keys. So it will give you all the keys. Now if you just only want to see the values, I think you guessed it, it will be values. Now if you just want to know how many items are there in my dictionary, all you can do, just call items. So it is telling you that it has 3 items, 1 and 1. This is the key and value. Now, yeah, so this is how you can basically figure out different values of dictionary. Okay, so to give you another example, common example maybe, is to, let's say I want to create a dictionary for weekdays. Okay, let's say I have a program where I have my weekdays starting from Sunday to Monday, and I want to assign values 0 to 6 so that my program know what is the day of weekdays. So okay, I don't want you to watch me typing. I'll just copy this content. So as you can see, so I've created a dictionary called weekdays. Now weekdays, Sunday is equal to 0, Monday 1, like that. Okay, so now if I on weekdays, you see I have these values. Now if you want to know the weekday, let's say Monday, so you get the values of 1. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's it for today's lecture. Thanks for watching.